Hi, and welcome to today's violin lesson. This lesson is actually going to be from the second edition of the Essential Elements violin book. This is book two, all right? And today we're going to be going over exercise number 36. This one is called Jesse James. And we're going to be taking this one slightly faster than we have with previous exercises, just because this is the second book. But if for whatever reason you feel like you need to take it slower, please feel free to go ahead and do that. Okay? All right, so first thing about this one, right off the top, you have some dynamics mixed into here. Um, you have a you have mezzo forte. You also have a crescendo and a decrescendo towards the end of the first line, and then a little bit at the beginning of the second line. Um, Here we also have F sharp and C sharp, so just make sure that you are looking at that. Um, and we also have some eighth rests in here, and then there's also a lift. If you look at the first measure of the second line, there is a bow lift right above that quarter rest. So you want to make sure that you are just observing that. Okay? All right. So let's take it from the pickup note, where you have the eighth note A and D. All right. So here we go. So we're just gonna take this nice and easy. So here we go. One, two, and one, and two, and one, two. Ready, go. Rest. Okay? So, this one's a little bit faster than some of the previous ones that we've done in the past. So, why don't we take this? Given that this one has a lot of eighth rests in there, um, I think the best one for best practice strategy for this would probably, I'd say, be phrase by phrase. Now, for those of you who are new, the phrase by phrase method is basically when we have one phrase within the music, and a lot of times it's pretty obvious, right? Because you'll hear a clear ending and a beginning, and you'll hear those two very distinctly. Sometimes they might be separated by a rest, or sometimes not so much. It really just depends on the piece that you are looking at. In this one, it's kind of easy to see where those phrases are because, first of all, like that first one, though it's pretty small, right? We could assume that it's right. That could be our first phrase right there. All right, and then our next phrase. All right. Now, if you want, you can combine both of those and make them both just one phrase. That is fine, because in this case, it does make sense, right? So, however you want to think about it, as long as it's in a way that is easier for you to understand. All right. So now the next phrase, starting with what is that? From D. Rest, okay? And don't forget you have that lift there as well, okay? And then going into the next phrase, and then you have the eighth note. Now keep in mind the next phrase does start on an up bow, all right? So just make sure that you're doing that. And this next phrase is, I'm gonna say, just for the sake of making it easier, you could make that last phrase pretty much the last of what is that? Those one, two, three, those last three measures, and along with that, that eighth note A with the that's going into the pickup of that. What is that? Measures one, two. Let's see, one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, measures the eighth note in measure six, where you have the, and then you have. So that's the spot that I'm referring to, if in case maybe you all might be a little bit confused on what I'm talking about there. So let's go ahead and let's try that last measure. So this one's going to be rest. Okay. Now, if you want, go ahead and pause the video right here. Listen to each of the phrases, or go back, rather, excuse me, and watch the way that I played them. And if you want, you can also try to play along with me. Now, you don't necessarily have to do the same tempo that I'm doing. I'm just doing this for the sake of the video. But if you feel like you need to go slower, then go ahead and do that. Again, the point is not to be able to try to play fast right off the bat. Most of the time, it's not going to happen, right? It's better to first understand what the notes are, and this is why we practice slowly. Again, this goes into the note by note practice, right? So say, for example, if I wanted to do that with this one, and let's just say I wanted to make every single note just a quarter note, right? You know, so on and so on. If you want to practice it like that, that is perfectly fine. Because it will help you to isolate all of those notes. That way you understand what they're supposed to sound like. Because it's hard to do that sometimes if we're trying to practice it super fast. Okay? So, let's try just that first phrase, but we're going to do it just note by note. Okay? So here we go. Okay, so that was the first phrase, and again, we're just doing it note by note. So we're basically combining two practice strategies here. We're combining using the phrase by phrase method as well as the note by note method, and we're kind of combining those a little bit. All right. So now the next one, the next phrase, and kind of doing it note by note. Right, and that is what we have there. And now let's do the next one, all right? And for now, if you're doing this note by note, you don't have to do the dynamics, not right away. If you want to go ahead and add them in, that's fine, but I usually don't suggest that because right now what we're trying to do is understand what the notes are first, all right? So here we go with the next phrase. I went a little bit above and beyond there when I was playing the fourth finger D, but you don't have to do that. I just kind of did that just because. All right, now the next phrase. Now this one starts on a down bow. Again, don't forget that the lift, all right? So that lift over the quarter rest, I'm looking at the second line, okay, of number 36, okay? So here we go. So we're going to start this on a down bow. Very slowly, all right? Now, let's keep going. Again, this one's going to start on an up bow. Now, for the sake of practice, you don't necessarily have to add in the slurs because, again, what we're trying to do right now is just play each and every single note just very slowly and understand what it is supposed to sound like. So, if you're trying to put those slurs in, even though you're doing note by note, don't do that. First, make sure that you understand what the notes and what the pitches are first. Then after you feel like you have a good understanding of them, then go ahead and try to add them in. All right. Okay. Well, hopefully this helps you all out. If you like this video, please feel free to take a look at some of the other videos that I have made on this channel. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you all on the next time. So take care.